Hello, and welcome back to the Reiki Gem Wellness channel. And today is an episode that I call Let's Talk Crystals. For those who are new to the channel, my name is Shannon, and I'm a certified Reiki master and teacher and a certified gemologist. And I combine those skills and passions to provide you with the knowledge, the tools, and the opportunities to help you incorporate crystal healing into your everyday life. And in these episodes, I answer the most common questions that I receive about crystal healing and using gemstones. And I also show you how I use them in my daily life. So I can give you a better idea of the kinds of situations that crystals and gemstones and meditation can help support in your life. And these are more casual, they're unscripted. I just have a little bit of notes here to go off of. But, this is more conversational. So what happened this week? Well, this week I am preparing to take a vacation from everything. The whole family is actually taking a vacation. It's a staycation, so we're not going anywhere, but we're going to take some time to not work, not homeschool, and do some things that we find relaxing and don't have a lot of time to do them. And I'll get more into that later because this week had a lot to do with preparing for vacation. But the first situation I want to talk about is one that's hard to admit when we find ourselves in the situation, and it's admitting when we're wrong. This can happen with good friends, spouses, significant others, when you are really convinced that you need to make a point and realize that their argument is pretty valid, but you've already committed to your point of view, and it's hard to let that go. So what gemstone can help us with that when we need to really just let go of our grip on our belief and admit that we're wrong? Now, this doesn't mean that when we're in a disagreement with somebody that we just admit that we're wrong. It doesn't mean that we don't stand up for things that we genuinely believe. But when we know we've lost the debate and we really need to throw in the towel, but we don't want to. Now, this comes to issues with like our ego and pride, and those are really solar plexus issues and an overabundance of energy in our solar plexus. And when we have that, we need to calm that down by going to the opposite color on the chakra spectrum. And for solar plexus, that's the throat. And the throat is blue gemstones. And so for admitting I'm wrong, I sat with Sodalite. Now, the throat chakra, it supports communication, but it also supports knowing our own inner truth and honesty. And this is a time when we need to be honest with ourselves, like, I'm wrong. And then we need to say the words, I'm wrong. And Sodalite is a stone that not only helps us just be true to ourselves and authentic, but also have those difficult conversations with people. And, when I found myself in this debate, I knew I just had to take a few minutes and separate myself from the conversation and sit down with the Sodalite and just allow the grip of ownership over that point of view to relax and to melt away. And once it had melted away, once I felt like I owned it less, like it belonged to me less, if that makes sense, I hope it does, then I could go back to my husband and say, you have a very valid point, and I'm wrong about this. So that is, if you find yourself in that situation, this is the stone that I used to help. So back to vacation prep. When I take a vacation away, there are a lot of things as a small business owner that I have to do ahead of time to make sure that things can still function smoothly with very little maintenance from myself. And my husband's taking the week off, we're not homeschooling, and I wanted to take off as much time as possible. So I had to do a lot of pre-work to have a day off. And this means that I have to have some extra drive, some extra motivation and organization to get all this work done this week. And when I need that, I reach for red jasper. And this stone really is the anti-procrastination stone. If you ever find yourself procrastinating things that you need to do, red jasper is the stone to just get the job done. Just get it done. And it's great if you need that motivation to exercise or to finish an assignment, to just get in there and get it done. So when I find myself thinking, really, I need to do this and that today and I'm not feeling it, then I take this out, and it's intentional that it's the shape of a worry stone. Because then I hold it and I'm like, okay, time to charge up the engine and just go in there and get it done. And red jasper helps with that tremendously. However, come Friday, the start of my vacation day, at the end of that day, I still had some things I needed to do. I probably had about an hour and a half of homeschool administration stuff that I needed to sit at the computer and do before I can actually just call things done and have a vacation. And I had short-timer's disease so bad. And for those who are not familiar with that phrase, short-timer's disease is when you're so close to a vacation or to retirement or to leaving a job or to finishing a project that you have zero motivation to do anything. You just kind of want to coast until you get to the end. And I had zero motivation, no gas in my tank to do this. And red jasper actually wasn't cutting it this time. I had to reach deeper into my toolbox and come out with honey calcite. And this is another stone for motivation because I needed some more fire. And I'll tell you, the moment I picked it up, the moment I could envision how it would feel once I finished that work and I could just close the book on responsibilities and start my vacation clean. Versus if I decided, I'm not going to do it, I'll do it later, that it would haunt me, that it would stay in my brain. This unfinished work would be there, would always be there in the back of my mind. It would haunt me throughout the entire week. I would not feel like I was actually relaxing. And I'll tell you, that did it. That motivated me to pick myself up, get to my computer, get that stuff done so that I could just have a worry-free vacation. I'll tell you, this leads us into the question of the week. And I've been asked several times, why are there so many crystals that do the same thing? Why isn't there just one stone that does that and one stone that does that? It would be a lot easier for me to keep track of. And that might be true. However, there are a lot of reasons why it's a good thing that there are multiple gemstones that provide the same type of benefit. Now, there are many gemstones for sleep, for protection, for improving intuition. And one of the reasons why is that each gemstone usually has a slightly different flavor in the way that it provides that support for that area. And in this example, these red jasper and honey calcite do have a really different flavor in the way that they provide motivation. Now, red jasper is associated with the sacral chakra, which is associated with water. And its feel is like a strong river that just flows to the end, to the ocean. It just goes. And that is the feel that I get from red jasper. And that it helps you just get in the groove and move your way to the end. Now, honey calcite is associated with the solar plexus chakra, which is the element of fire. And this helps really stoke your motivation and enthusiasm and excitement and make you really want to do it. So there are situations in which you may need a different flavor of how something is provided to you, like sleep stones. There's amethyst, howlite, amazonite, lepidolite, moonstone, many other stones that help with sleep. But, amethyst helps us sleep by warding off and reducing nightmares. And howlite and amazonite help by calming down the thinking mind and allowing our mind to relax so that we can drift off to sleep. Lepidolite helps reduce stress so we can go to sleep. And some people sleep well with black tourmaline because then they feel safe and then they can fall asleep. So we may need a different type of stone depending on what the trigger is for that issue. Another reason why it's great that there are multiple gemstones for an issue is that you just may not like the particular stone that provides that support. If amethyst were the only stone that helped people sleep, and you didn't really particularly like amethyst, and that's important. You don't have to like every single crystal, and it's really important in determining what we need, what stones we like and what stones we don't. And if you don't like amethyst and you're trying to sleep, it's not really going to help you all that well. But if you have 5 or 6 stones to choose from and you look at one and you're like, yeah, that's it. I like that stone. I like the color. I like the shape. I can really connect to that. Then that is going to help you so much more. Having a connection with a stone, actually feeling the support from it, like your connection and relationship to that stone, your attraction to that stone, helps boost the support that you can get from that gemstone. So yeah, that's why there are so many gemstones that do the same thing. And those are the reasons why it's really good. Like I said, just to summarize, gemstones provide that support in multiple different flavors so that you can get just the right support that you need. And you can find a gemstone that you have a connection with so that it can help support you more. So thank you so much for joining me today. And I hope I was able to answer that question well. And if you have a question about crystal healing, how to use gemstones, anything at all, put your question in the comments because I'm creating a nice long list for future episodes and have a library for all of your crystal healing questions in the future. And if you've been watching and you haven't subscribed already and you're interested in crystal healing, make sure to subscribe because I post a wide variety of videos and guided meditations using crystals and gemstones. And this way you won't miss a single one. Thank you so much, and I'll see you again soon.